Have you ever noticed that one smart student in your class who always seemed so relaxed? You see them hanging out, playing games, or even participating in all sorts of extracurricular activities, yet when the exam results come back, they effortlessly pull off a straight A. Meanwhile, you might have spent an entire week locked in the library on your third latte just to stay awake, rereading every page of the textbook until you've practically memorized the page numbers. But your result is still just a mediocre B or C. That feeling is incredibly frustrating. It's like you're running as hard as you can on a treadmill. You're putting in a lot of energy, but ultimately you're staying in the exact same spot. But let me tell you a harsh truth that perhaps no one has ever told you directly at school. Blind hard work is the fastest way to burn out without achieving the results you want. Our biggest mistake as students is believing that just by spending more hours sitting at a desk, we will get better. In reality, the brain doesn't work in such a linear way. You are trapped in an outdated mindset, and it's time for a new operating system. That is the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto Principle. If you know how to apply it to your studies, you will realize that 80% of your grades actually come from only 20% of your truly well-placed efforts. Don't misunderstand and think I'm telling you to be lazy. I'm teaching you how to be a strategically lazy person. Look at that mountain of assignments and textbooks in front of you. There is a brutal truth. Not all knowledge has equal value in a 4-month course. Some chapters are just introductory, and some sections are just long-winded examples for a simple concept. If you spend 10 hours studying everything with the same level of focus, you are wasting at least 8 hours on content that will most likely never appear on the final exam. Those high-achieving students we often admire aren't actually studying more than you. They are just better at sniffing out where the most important 20% of the knowledge lies. So how can a confused student filter out that 20% of gold from an ocean of words? First, learn to be a detective right in the lecture hall. You need to be extremely sharp with signals from your professors. When a teacher spends an entire session talking in detail about a specific diagram, or suddenly emphasizes that you as students should take special note of this part, that is when they are sending out signals about the exam. Don't just take notes like a machine. Mark it in red. Next, hunt down old exam papers from previous years. You will realize a classic pattern. No matter how the course changes, professors always have favorite areas of knowledge they are passionate about. There are types of problems that appear year after year, only changing the numbers or names. That is the 20% core that brings you the A grade you've been missing because you were too busy studying the trivial details. Once you've identified the core content, the next step is to change how you put it into your head. Never sit and reread a page 5 times, because that is just passive reception. It creates an illusion that you understand, but in reality, your brain is just familiar with the words. Instead, use the active recall technique. After reading an important section, close the book, take a blank sheet of paper, and draw a mind map or ask yourself questions. If you can't write down the main points without looking at the book, it means you don't truly grasp it yet. This process might make your brain feel more tired, but trust me, 15 minutes of focused effort this way is more valuable than 2 hours of sitting and reading silently in despair. Another tip for truly mastering knowledge in a short time is the Feynman Technique. Imagine you have to explain a complex economic concept or a physics law to a friend who is completely clueless about it. If you can use the simplest language and the most practical examples to make them understand, then congratulations. That knowledge officially belongs to you. Teaching others is the best way for you to check if you have any gaps in that 20% of golden knowledge. Remember that your student life isn't just about homework and exams. If you spend your entire youth buried in books ineffectively, you are losing many opportunities to experience things, join clubs, go for internships, or simply spend time on personal hobbies. The 80-20 rule doesn't just help you get an A, it gives you back your freedom. When you have handled the core knowledge in just 1/3 of the time compared to before, you will no longer feel guilty about going out or going to bed early. You will enter the exam room with a completely different mindset, calm and confident because you know you have the winning hand, instead of being proud of staying up all night to study. Be proud that you finished your goal in 2 hours and had time to take care of yourself. Never confuse being busy with being effective. A smart student is someone who knows when to focus intensely and when to let go of unnecessary things. If you feel overwhelmed by a massive workload, stop for a moment, take a piece of paper, and ask yourself, among the 10 things I have to do, which 2 things actually decide my academic results? Solve those 2 things first with all your energy, and you will see your academic destiny change in just 1 semester. I hope this video will be a push for you to change your approach to studying. Don't be a slave to books. Turn them into tools to conquer your goals. If you find this mindset useful and want to apply it starting today, leave a comment saying 80-20 to remind yourself. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can explore more effective ways to hack student life together. Now, close your books. Identify the most important 20% of today. Handle it quickly and spend the rest of your time enjoying life as a true student. See you in the next videos with the brightest A's.